Hey everyone, it's Tony with Hidden Light Photography, and I'm happy to announce an update to Astro Image Detail, bringing easy sharpening of linear data. And if you're new to the script, don't worry because we're going to be going through the entire script together. So if you haven't done so yet, hit that subscribe button. I don't want you to miss out on any valuable information. Now let's jump into PixInsight and learn about Astro Image Detail. Astro Image Detail is a script that I designed in order to help make sharpening your image as easy as possible. And recently I added a feature into Astro Image Detail that allows us to sharpen linear data easily as well. And I do that by utilizing Blur Exterminator. So now we get to take full advantage of the full potential of Blur Exterminator. Now, if you haven't used my scripts yet, don't worry. I'll have a link in the description of this video here, which will take you to my installation video where I go over where to get my repository link, which contains all of my scripts, how to download it and install it into PixInsight, as well as overcome some common issues that sometimes happen when installing a repository link into PixInsight. Once the repository link is installed into PixInsight, you'll find Astro Image Detail under Script, HLP, Astro Image Detail. Now, if you've used this script before, you'll already see some changes. And I'm going to go over the new feature first. So if you've used the script before, you can get the information right away. If you haven't used the script, don't worry because we're going to go over everything that this script has to offer. Now to get started, the new feature is going to be for linear sharpening, enable Blur Exterminator. Now, just a little bit of background. In order to get the full potential of Blur Exterminator, and this is going to be very data dependent. And what I found is that most of the time, removing the stars from the image before applying Blur Exterminator gives you the best sharpening of the structures within your image. So in order to do that, we would have our image, and then we would have to get the PSF diameter or the full width half max of the stars so that then we can use that in Blur Exterminator. We would have to convert this into a grayscale image, whether we separate the color channels or extract the luminance, and then we would have to go into Script, Image Analysis, full width half max eccentricity, get the full width half max of the stars, and then remove the stars with either Star Exterminator or StarNet. And then we would have to go into Process All Processes, Blur Exterminator, plug that full width half max number into the PSF diameter, and then we can run it. We no longer have to do that. So if we go into Script, HLP, Astro Image Detail, what we would do now is we would choose our image. So here we have IC 5070 with stars. Now this image is still in its linear state, meaning it has not been stretched yet. And then we would enable Blur Exterminator. And then we have our sharpening slider. So if we move the slider right, we have more sharpening, less, or left, we have less sharpening. 0.5 is going to be the default setting in Blur Exterminator, so I left that as the default setting here in the script. Next, we would choose our star removal method, whether it be Star Exterminator if you have that installed. If not, we can also use StarNet. And then we can also apply Noise Exterminator if you have that installed. And that'll help us reduce some of the noise that tends to happen when we sharpen an image. From here, we can actually show our preview, and this will end up allowing us to see exactly what the script is going to do to our image before we apply it to the main image. Now, we have an image here that has stars. So what it's going to do, I have Star Exterminator selected, so it's going to end up getting the full width half max measurement of the stars. It's going to use Star Exterminator to remove the stars, apply the full width half max measurement into the PSF diameter of Blur Exterminator, run Blur Exterminator on the image, and then recombine the stars. Here we can see our image, and we can actually adjust the preview zoom. If we go 1:1, we can really get in there and see exactly what the script is doing. And once we have our image looking the way we want it by adjusting the sliders with Blur Exterminator or even Noise Exterminator, we can go ahead and then click Execute to apply it to the main image. So here we can see what the script is doing. If I were to go ahead and just reduce the sharpening all the way on Blur Exterminator, I'm going to refresh the preview really quick, and then we can see the difference that Blur Exterminator made with the image. Now, sometimes it takes a few seconds for the preview to reload. Unlike an actual PixInsight process where there's a live preview with a script, you have to run the entire script to redo the preview. But here we can see that the script or Blur Exterminator made a pretty good difference here. I'm going to go ahead and crank the sharpening all the way up, do one more run just to show you. And if you just keep your eyes right over here on these structures, we'll be able to see the difference that Blur Exterminator made. So right now it's removing the stars and it's applying Blur Exterminator, and we're going to see that here in just a second. There you go. So it does a really good job here. And then of course we can apply Noise Exterminator to get rid of some of that noise. Now again, once you're happy with the results, you can go ahead and click Execute. Or the other option is you can take the new instance icon, drag it onto the workspace, and then you can go ahead, take your image and just drag the icon onto the image and allow it to run on the main image itself. So we'll let this run for just a second here. I can show you what it's doing. It has already pulled the full width half max data, and it already has it installed in the Blur Exterminator, so that then Blur Exterminator will run, sharpen your image, and it's going to go ahead and put the stars back in. Now I wanted to have this so that then if you start with an image with stars, you end with an image with stars. But let's say that you have an image where the stars are already removed, such as this version right here. Well, the script can also handle that. So if we head into Script, HLP, Astro Image Detail, and we choose IC 5070, which is the one that does not have the stars, let's enable Blur Exterminator, and let's just go ahead and run a quick preview. The script looks for a star image associated with your target image. In this case, it found the stars image that we see right up over here by my cursor, and it's pulling the full width half max data off of that star image. It's going to apply that into Blur Exterminator. Notice how it avoided running Star Exterminator or StarNet because the stars are already separated. It runs Blur Exterminator, and then it gives us our image in the preview without the stars. And that's because we started with an image with the stars removed. Now, once you get your settings correct, you know, the way you want them, you can click Execute, you can drag the new instance off and drag the icon on, and it'll actually apply the script to your starless image and leave you with a starless image. And that is the new feature that I have. Now let's go back into Astro Image Detail, and let's talk about the large scale and small scale sliders here. Now, the large scale and small scale sliders, this is going to be for non-linear sharpening, an image that is already stretched, and you want to have a starless image before you do this. These two sliders work directly with multi-scale linear transform and multi-scale median transform. Multi-scale linear transform adjusts the sharpness of your large scale structures, and multi-scale median transform adjusts the sharpness of your small scale structures. Now just a quick background on how that works. If we go to Process, All Processes, and we come down to multi-scale linear transform, We'll do the same thing and pull out multi-scale median transform. They look almost similar. Both of these work with the wavelet layers of your image. Multi-scale linear transform is large structure. Multi-scale median transform is small structure. And what we would do is we would add a layer and we would adjust the bias values of each layer. So we would do something like 0.025, 0.05, 0.075, and 0.1. We would take the triangle, drag it, and drop it onto our image, and then we would adjust the bias values until we're happy with the sharpness. With the script, we don't have to do that. So we'll hop out of these two processes. We'll go back to script, HLP, Astro Image Detail, and now that is all controlled by these two sliders. Now, if you take a look, large scale is defaulted to 5, small scale is defaulted to 1. This is going to be a good starting point for one-shot color data. I have that actually listed in the text up here. One-shot color data, you want to stay a little bit smaller, a little bit light on the multi-scale median transform. When you get into mono data, you can actually start small scale at 5. Now, how these work, 5 on these is going to be the bias values that I just showed you. 0.025, 0.05, 0.075, and 0.1. As you move these sliders right, you are proportionally increasing the bias values. And as you move the sliders left, you're proportionally decreasing the bias values. In other words, right is more sharp, left is less sharp. And that's going to be for multi-scale linear and multi-scale median. So let's go ahead and put these back at default. So I'll put these at 5 and 1. And I'm going to load up IC 1805. And I'm just going to go ahead and show a preview. Again, the script is going to run. It's going to apply multi-scale linear transform and then multi-scale median transform. And it's going to throw the image up for us in the preview so we can see. So now we have our image here. And we can see exactly what the script is doing. And again, if we do a zoom factor of 1:1, we can really get in and analyze what the script is doing for our image. Now, you don't want to use linear data on this. This will be very good for stretched data. So that's why I have this. For nonlinear sharpening, we're going to use large and small scale. And for linear sharpening, we're going to use Blur Exterminator. Now, we can see here this image is a little bit noisy, and that's actually exactly where Noise Exterminator will come from. You can either adjust the value here, just like you would in the process itself, or you can drag the slider, whichever is easier. Let's refresh the preview. We'll run it one more time, and we can actually see this noise disappear after Noise Exterminator runs. Now, while this is going, if you wanted to omit one of these from the workflow, just simply put the value to 0 on one of these sliders, and that section will be omitted. So if you don't want to use small scale, 0 it out, it'll skip over the small scale sharpening. Same thing for the large scale. So now we can see that that noise is gone, and we can see what the script did for the sharpening. We can take this, we can move the slider a little bit left. We'll refresh it one more time just to show you how the sharpening works. What we did by moving that slider left is proportionally lower the bias values on multi-scale linear transform. And we're going to see that once this preview finishes updating, we're going to see the sharpness kind of go away a little bit, kind of tame out. Now keep in mind, when you're sharpening an image, a little bit goes a very long way. You don't want to overdo it. Just make it until you're happy, and then you can just go ahead and execute. And you can see here now some of that sharpness is gone. Again, you can go ahead and execute, or if you find some settings that work really well with your data, grab that new instance icon, drag it onto the workspace, and then you can go ahead and just drag and drop onto your image and let it run. So I hope you find this script useful, and if you do and want to help support the channel, hit that join button and consider joining a Hidden Light Photography membership. There's lots of perks in it for you, and your support helps me bring you more scripts and content. Another way you can help support the channel is checking out my High Point Scientific affiliate link located in the description of this video here if you happen to be in the market for some new gear. Also, do me a favor, that channel icon that popped up, hit that channel icon and subscribe. I don't want you to miss out on any valuable information. Drop a comment in the comment section. How do you normally sharpen your image? Do you have any questions? And then check out that next video. Until the next time, clear skies.